Good morning. We now hit double digits, number 10 episode on the Yes Way Jose. And good morning. This is Jose Cabero again, the mayor of Shepherdsville. But right now, the great host. Oh, that's kind of modest on my part.
Great?
Well, I'm just working on the great part. I know I'm the host. I'll have to work on that extra word. Good morning, Travis.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning to you. First of all, gosh, I always try to remember that website we have, that email. Oh, there's an email.
Oh, yeah, the yeswayjosemail@gmail.com.
Yeah, and listen, and you know what? And you're here today, but there's somebody not here today. And is it like the dog ate your homework? Oh, I had a flat tire.
It was the flat tire, apparently. Flat tire and clothes for work in the washer, not dry.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like I shouldn't tell.
Go ahead.
We got to hear about this. He just called me like right before I got here, and he was like, "Yeah, I walked outside. I have a flat tire, and nobody told me that my Freddy's uniforms were in the washer and not dry." So he was not a happy camper this morning.
We have a calamity. We have only half of our support team here for the Yes Way Jose program, but we have seen that throughout some of these episodes, we've been okay with that.
I think that we have proven at this point that the important half of the staff is here today.
Yeah. Eli who?
Yeah.
Who? I hope he's listening because, I mean, this is going to be important because the sun is in my eyes.
I'll make him edit this episode. That way he'll have to listen to it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. All right, good morning again. We're glad to have you. Obviously, we like to kid around a little bit, but we obviously appreciate Travis and Eli and all they do for this program. We want people to really take an opportunity to just listen. Just listen. As we always say, we try to encourage you to listen. Hey, we just want to hear whatever you have, constructive criticism, things that we do, because the whole purpose of it is that you have a venue that you can listen to that'll give you insights. We're going to joke about some things, but we really want you to know what's going on in the community, and we have so many good things. But we got a good guest for you today. We're going to introduce her in a minute to you, but we have got to talk about the traveling wall.
Before we talk about the traveling wall,
Yes.
we have an announcement.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
You said they can listen, but starting next episode, they'll also be able to watch. We're going to start the video on YouTube,
right.
so it'll be
Yeah, so then I have to wear makeup.
Yeah, you can't come and do the podcast in your pajamas anymore.
Oh no! Oh wow! So let me ask you this. So I'm gonna pick on some people here. I'm sure I'm gonna offend some people on this episode, but what if I just filtered my picture? Oh, they do that on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I can look like I was 13 again.
You can do the one with the makeup.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to offend some people. If I've offended you, sorry about that, but it's just really something I see on Facebook. You know, Travis, come on now.
Oh, I see it.
I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble. Somebody's going to yell at me, but I don't want to look 13. I'd rather just look my age, and when you see me, I am who I am, and I guess it's popular. I think one of them is called Puzzle or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to get too much in. I see it filtering through. I mean, I might ask the guest to here in a minute and see what she thinks about this. But
yeah, I see all the people getting the Botox shots now, and I'm just like, just let it, just gravity. Yeah, it's okay. Just let the gravity do its work.
We're going sideways really fast on this program, really sideways. All right, good morning again for everybody. Listen, we just want to make sure that you know we have the traveling wall. It's the Vietnam. It's 80% replica of the wall that's in Washington D.C. Came into town on a procession Wednesday night. We got about 8 o'clock. We got into the city of Shepherdsville in the city park. It was amazing. They set that whole wall up. It's 360 feet in about an hour.
Oh, really?
It was really amazing. And so to be a part of that process and hanging up these panels, and as you put them up, you're looking at the names, people that you're glossing over names, and you're thinking, wow, these are people that actually killed in action in the Vietnam era. And that war was one that wasn't really respected by this country, and a lot of people know that. So it was great for us to have that there. We also do actually have in the park, you'll see actually at the cost of freedom, a lot of different other recognitions for 9/11, the USS Cole, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the Somalia conflict. So we have a lot of things that you're going to see when you get out there. What's been great in the first couple of days is that we've gotten a chance to meet some really outstanding veterans. And in some of the stories, I'm not going to get into it today, but I mean, the stories that you hear from the veterans that came back, they're buddies that were football players together, and they both went over there and only one came back. And one of the significant things I think in that piece is that I think the soldiers that came back feel guilty that they came back because they've lost their family members, they've lost friends in that conflict. And I think that's the hardest part for, I think, some of these veterans as they talk about their experiences. So a lot of things come out of it. I encourage everybody that listens to this podcast or just anybody in the community, regional area, please come out. We've got this set up until Tuesday morning. They'll be leaving on the 30th to their next venture, which is Sturgis, by the way. But it's a traveling wall throughout the year. We're going to do it every 4 years here in Shepherdsville, because we know a lot of people don't get a chance to go to Washington, D.C. to see something like this. This is going to be great. So one other thing before we get to our fine guest today is we want to make sure that one of the comments I had yesterday, a gentleman I met named Richard, got all of his information. I said hello. He said hello. And he said, when are we going to have our parade? When are we going to have our ticker tape parade? And he was talking about Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
And right then, the only answer I had was yes. You're going to have one. You're going to have one. And
don't have a win, but yes.
Yes. I've got the win now. And the win is we were going to try to do it before the year was out, Travis, but we were actually going to do it March 29th of 2025. That is actually the day, Vietnam Veterans Day. I didn't know that till yesterday. And so I want everybody listening to this that you know that this is going to be a very important day here in the city, because we're going to make sure that the city of Shepherdsville and this community is going to recognize those Vietnam veterans. So everybody that served during that time and served in that war, we're going to try to get as many as we can into the city, put them into a ticker tape parade, and then obviously have a dinner for them and have the recognition that a lot of these folks didn't get when they came back.
Yeah, I think the problem with, when you look at like a lot of the history of like that war and stuff, the war itself, there was a lot of controversy about whether or not we should have been fighting it. And, you could argue even today, but a lot of that was shifted onto the veterans. And those guys, most of them were drafted. Like they didn't really ask for that. They just went and served their country.
They did their job. They did their
So a lot of them were kind of like unfairly maligned when they got back. I've seen a lot of that.
That was an understatement, I think. You said
Yeah.
I mean, and my dad was one of those.
Yeah.
My dad served twice in Vietnam and twice in Korea. And I think that's the biggest piece, is that we need to make sure we say thank you in the most genuine way we can do that. We can do that with some kind of recognition, with a parade and a nice dinner for them. So I'm excited about that piece. But as we do every one of our episodes, we always try to bring in somebody to tell you about what's going on in our community. We have impact players, and we have today Jennie
Fleming.
Oh, we went to Fleming now. See, I got to keep up with that. But no, it is. All kidding aside, I did this because I did this wrong last time. We have Jennie Fleming. She's here, and I have him in my phone as Jennie Turnaround, because the turnaround is something she's done significantly. So I'm not going to get too much into what I'm going to let Jennie talk about her. But first of all, good morning, Miss Jennie.
Good morning, guys. This is so amazing. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to talk to you all. Sorry, Eli. I hate that I missed you.
He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
He'll be all right. What a first announcement of the day. I think I've had my tears already.
Well, I'm just telling you, we appreciate it. But tell us, I know a lot of what you do, and a lot of folks know who you are. But talk about your growing up and your community and the things that you did before and now what you've been doing, and now obviously in Shepherdsville. Tell us a little bit about that for the audience.
Well, I am a Bullitt County raised individual. I graduated from Bullitt Central. This is my city. This is my county. I did grow up in a little old town in the southern tip of Bullitt County. It's called Lebanon Junction.
Lebanon Junction.
If you don't know where Lebanon Junction is, it's okay. It's still there. It's been there a long, long time.
Yes,
you probably passed through.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah,
now, if you pass by, though, you're going to see 3 turnaround locations. So it's kind of funny. You'll go through this past the school, and there's a turnaround. Then you go past the dollar store, which is the only store, and there's the turnaround. Then you go downtown, and there's the turnaround. So it's like you're turning around all day long in Lebanon Junction. So.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to a couple of your facilities down there. So when you grew up in LJ and you've got a lot of impact in LJ, what made you think about doing something like this?
Well, having a human resource background, I worked for retail management, hired and fired people all the time. Of course, the firing was the hardest part, but hey, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. But I had a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom that had been built up over the years. And living in Lebanon Junction, you just see a lack of it sometimes, or I did then. And I thought, well, what better way to help someone turn their life around than to give them the knowledge and the wisdom they needed? And, well, that started the journey. I had an empty building, which used to be our old golf course. There used to be one of those.
Golf course in LJ.
In LJ,
All right.
Knob View Golf Course. I grew up sleigh riding down the hills. But don't tell nobody that.
I will keep it in my secret. Oh, did she just tell everybody? I think she told everybody. All right, no, they'll come after you after the show.
That's all right. It's now the land that I'm on, so I would get in trouble for that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you started there. You've got the 3 buildings in LJ, and tell people what the turnaround does. What is the impact that you make in the community in LJ? But you really, I learned about you through the Chamber of Commerce. And the things that you've done. I got a chance to see that you have some great services. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But why? Why did you do this? Why?
I want to see people's lives change. Their current situation is not their final destination. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've said since the very beginning. Just because you're in a bad spot doesn't mean you have to stay there. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that that's the last spot. You can turn your life around. And the goal was, of course, it's ministry related. Mm-hmm. I've been in ministry for years, and one of the main things was seeing people saved. Mm-hmm. You want to see people turn their lives around. And we did that. I mean, the very first day I said, Lord, if you just give me one person a day, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep doing this for you.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to make sure, Travis, I went to a Christmas appreciation last year, and what was significant about this is not the fact that she's making the impact in the community. We had about 80 volunteers there. She's got 80 volunteers in this group. I don't know what the total of it is, but when I came there, and they were all pitching in, helping everybody out, and it was a great little venue. But to have that tells you something about an organization that has that kind of volunteer staff.
I love my volunteers.
That was amazing. 80. Great group of people there.
I was going to say I did my little pre-show research, and
look at you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Look at you.
He sent me the schedule for the next couple weeks, and your name was just Jennie Turnaround. So I tried to search, and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Who is this? This person?" I was like, "This person works at Turnaround." I was like, "What is it?" But so I see that you do like meals and stuff too, and stuff like, and you help people like get jobs and stuff like that. Is that kind of what it's focused on?
Clothing,
and things like that.
Yeah, we have grown over the last 7 years. September 7th will be in our 7th year, and it's so exciting that we've gotten where we are. But I don't think we're done yet. So of course not. No. We'll talk about that one later, right?
We're gonna get that. That's on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
No, sorry guys. At the turnaround, we feed people. We do food boxes. We give away. Wednesday, we gave away 200 food boxes, and we ran out. So we were just throwing food together for families that were coming through.
And people just show up.
They show up. Okay. It is the coolest thing. It's like a well-oiled machine, and that's what I tell everybody. In order to work, you've got to be well-oiled, and everybody knows their job, and everybody knows what position they're on for that day. And we were shutting down the city of Lebanon Junction on Food Box Day because, it's not really that big. So we made a driveway through our turnaround.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yep.
We made this big, long driveway, and it's got a funneling system where there's 6 lines. People pull in at 11 o'clock. I have to have the police officer there to get it started. Thank you, Terry Phillips, for helping me there. Thank you, Mayor, for letting him.
Okay. All right.
They come in, and it's like we shut down Preston Highway, and people know you can't park and you can't wait. You got to wait till 11 o'clock. The lot opens at 11. It's like, I wish I had a big 10, 9, 8, 7 ball drop kind of thing, massive.
Ring a bell.
Yeah,
get a bell. Yeah.
So when it opens, everybody funnels in, and then they funnel into the 6 driveways, and then as soon as we can get started, we get them in and out. And record-breaking time yesterday, 200 boxes by 12 o'clock, we was out.
Wow.
And a lot of people in need right now, and I don't see that reducing anytime soon. I see the increase every time. We're also giving away food 6 days a week at that location.
I want to make a point about that because I think sometimes this kind of I won't say the average family, but I think for people that listen to this podcast, I want you to think about your day-to-day lives. And most of us are what we call the average life, that we have food on the table, our utilities are paid, cars paid, house paid. we have a segment of not only in this county but across this country that this inflation piece that we talk a lot about. We talk about the cost of a gallon of milk.
It's killing them.
It really is. And I think that's the hardest part until the gas prices, because you got to get around, you got to get to work, you got to get your kids to school and the activities. So we're missing that piece. And sometimes when people make decisions, I mean, that house has to be paid and that car has to be paid. So sometimes you get short on the food money. And so things that you do like this, Jenny, this means a lot to me. I know that you've got a very good organization with that piece. That's what really stood out to me is you're able to do it, very accommodating, and it's a very impactful each day that you do it. For me, I'm going to kind of take it into this next thing, because what happened is that you were doing this in LJ. You thought about Shepherdsville, and we look at Shepherdsville because obviously me being the mayor of Shepherdsville, I wanted to see what is it that you could do to impact the same kind of, because a lot of these people might be people from Shepherdsville going down to LJ to maybe get some of these food supplies. Right. So we got to keep all that in mind, because it's a regional impact, not just for LJ.
That's right.
And so for some of these folks that just live outside of these little cities, it's important that they have some help when they need it. So that's what you do there. Mm-hmm. And then so let's talk about you said, hey, we talked, and you said, hey, I'm coming to Shepherdsville. I'm like, okay, let's figure out what does that mean. So it's a different dynamic than you do in LJ. So talk a little bit about the turnaround here in Shepherdsville and why you decided to do it, and what's the format of it, and where do you see it in a couple of years?
Awesome. That's a great opportunity to talk. I love that. We started out with the food needs in our community, and of course, then there was clothing, and this all follows the biblical structure of feed them, clothe them, house them, love them. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. We had very little housing in our county, very little assistance to get the housing. Bullitt County Housing First was dissolving, and we were given an opportunity to pick up where they had left off. And it was an honor. It was part of that final step to the 7-year process. And of course, coming to Shepherdsville, I was scared. Shepherdsville's big. It's huge.
It's big. It's a lot bigger than LJ.
There's a reason that song by Journey is, I'm just a small town girl. You take me to the county. Hello.
The county. I don't know if is that what they call it in LJ? The county.
If you just come to Shepherdsville, it's the county.
Oh, okay. See, I'm my dad's family's from out this way, but my mom's family's from Louisville, and we lived in Louisville whenever I was young, up until about middle school. So like we always pictured Shepherdsville as like the small town outside of Louisville. It's kind of funny.
So anyway, we came in January. We purchased the Bullitt County Housing First building, and just decided we were going to grow on that and figure out the best way to use it for the community, for the people in the community. And knew that housing needs was desperately needed in our counties and everywhere around.
I think the piece that most people can appreciate is, first of all, if you're in a dire situation and you don't have the finances you need, well, you're really in trouble, because a lot of times when it comes to getting an apartment, you have to have 2 months rent and a deposit. I don't know what it is today. So you have to have that money up front. So a lot of times folks can't get on their feet. What I like about what Jenny and I have been talking about this whole thing is a transitional piece, a piece to help people up. Not a handout, but a hand up, right? And I think that's a critical piece of what you do, is because and other organizations like yourself try to do things with guidelines. There's got to be a cooperation. There's got to be, I will help you with this, but you got to help with this, right? There's a give and take of, you can't just come and just get this handout. And so the housing piece fell apart there. Jenny stepped up, and her volunteers. You should see her facility over there. It's off of South Preston there, right off Preston Highway there by that's Billings Funeral. Just turn down 480C. It's got the signs, and as soon as you come through the Viaduct area, it's maybe a couple blocks up on the left. They did a real nice job fixing the facility up, so it's accommodating for a number of families. I don't know what the number is, but you said,
well, we just got our occupancy license, and it appears that we can house up to 17 people.
17 people, and most of this centers around women and families,
right? Yes.
Because that was the piece was it's hard to have anybody that's without a home that's in that situation, but most of us would just be torn personally if we know kids. And again, take nothing away from adults, but it would break my heart not to know that there's a child that's out. So this is a great piece. And so talk a little bit about that process with this facility that you want to do in Shepherdsville.
Right now, I would just love to help people who need, like you said, a hand up, because there's a vetting process for it as well. We have to make sure that I'm not doing the 80% and you're doing the 20%. And that's our new rule of thumb this year, is we are really focusing on those people who want to see their life turned around, who are ready to invest their time as well as ours in their future. And the vetting process is pretty strong. I mean, there's a lot of rules, of course, with everything you get into, but we want to see people who need their lives turned around. You go, my impact falls with a family that had a flood. And I can say that because I'm from Lebanon Junction. I've witnessed a lot of families that go from sleeping in a bed one night to not having a bed the next night. My family included. We're on the other side of the flood wall, so you can imagine. And my grandma and grandpa slept with us. My aunts came to our house because we were borderline flood. So say you have a fire and you have, you go from a house one night to nothing. And I know that we have avenues out there, and I am so thankful for them for helping people in those situations, but they don't last long enough. We found that out. A lot of people struggle for months after a house burns down, or you're flooded. You're trying to get everything back together, and then you got to work. You've got kids that are in school. And, my goal is with focusing on keeping the family together, letting them get a place to lay their head, do their laundry, eat, because I have this really cool kitchen plan. And I mean, there's like 5 refrigerators that we've been blessed with. Each family has their own refrigerator. I mean,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's the neatest thing, and the colors. The rooms are done up in colors. So if you're in the blue room, everything you have is blue. Even your kitchen utensils, everything. So I mean,
that's cool.
I mean, hey, if the blue room's not doing their dishes, I'm going to know about it, okay, guys? The green room, same thing. You got to make life easy, right?
Sure.
So that's and I really want to help these families, and it's a 90-day. We're sticking with the 90-day transition.
Yeah, this is an interesting part.
So when you get to the 90 days, your 90 days is up. So I'm going to be the one, and there's several on my staff that are going to be helping you get all the information. As I said earlier, resources. That's what I know. Yeah. And everybody asked me, how do you know all that? Well, if I could just file what was in my brain, I mean, you wouldn't have a filing cabinet big enough, I'm afraid. Sure. It would be massive. So it's funny. Someone says, well, who do I call? Google. And they're like, what? No, you get on Google and you look for 2020 census. That was a question yesterday. And she's like, I can do that? I'm like, yeah, it's there.
Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody understands on this program that, first of all, is for those dire situations that happen like that, whether it's flooding or fire. But you also work with families that, that they had to leave. They had to leave for abuse. And so now mom wasn't working. So now they come to you. Obviously, that you have guidelines for them to be in there, how they handle the property, drugs, no drugs.
No drugs.
I mean, and so
drug test every.
Yeah.
I was about to say, with focusing on women and children, a lot of times there's situations where if it's an abusive situation, it's hard for a woman to get out of that situation. There's not as much mobility to get themselves out of that place to go.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic. So that now mom hasn't been working. Now to her sustain what she needs to do, she's got to work. So now that changes how she handles her kids. She doesn't have any money. So what you give them the opportunity that first 30 days, get their life back kind of focused. But within that 30 days, I think you mentioned to me that you want to see them working. So that next 30 days, they've been able to accumulate that money because they're not paying for rent and stuff like that. And then by the last 30 days in this 90-day process, they should be financially enough to where they can get an apartment, that they can get started. And that's where I like it, because you're giving them a chance to put away some money for the things that they're going to need to have if they're going to get out on their own.
Right.
Now, again, they make the commitment. The 80-20 thing's not working for you. So it should be really 50-50. I mean, if they're really going to be out there really making all that happen, and you're giving them opportunity to save some money and finance, that's a big piece. It doesn't mean that even after they're on their own, if we still need to help with food or some clothing, we're going to still find ways as a community, not just the turnaround, to help these individuals. I think the one thing that I can say safely that I'm honored as much to know about the city of Shepherdsville and all the rest surrounding areas in the county, we have a lot of good people who want to do good things.
Yes, absolutely.
We really do. Between volunteering and donating supplies and clothes and stuff for kids, I am very proud to be a part of this kind of community. So I think it's awesome what you do, and I think it's important for this episode and the episodes we've done that actually show some of the community agencies that you guys do what you do. We want to make sure that they know how, again, to reach you. So what's the best way to reach out to Jennie Turnaround?
You can email me at turnaroundrc, like resource center at gmail.com, or you can call our phone number 502-488-1628. However, I do prefer a text because the phone rings often. So if it's an emergency, or if it qualifies as an emergency to you, text me. I'll get somebody on that as soon as I can. I can't always get to the phone, and I do every day. I try to look at all my texts to make sure. I am a one person in 5 different locations at this time, but I do have help. So when I can get the help, I do. So, yes, right. I'm findable. Look for the Turnaround Resource Center building.
I was about to say, I found you on Facebook pretty quick.
There you go. Yeah, you can find it, send a message there. Right now, we're in a process of getting 4 women into a house. In the last 2 weeks, we found 4 women that are all moving out into their own places under different circumstances. And so yesterday, I put a post on Facebook and said, hey, I need this stuff, guys. And today at 2, I think I'm going to be at my location collecting what they need. So it's really an opportunity. And you're right, Mayor. Shepherdsville has been amazing. It has been off the charts. The doors have been open in every avenue. I am just blown away at the support that I have received here in Shepherdsville, not only through the city, but through all the other avenues, the churches, the Fellowship of Concern, the ministerial groups that are here in town. Just a lot of people have reached out to say, hey, we want to help. Southeast Christian Church is on, they're there. Field of Grace. I know you had EJ in here last week. We're getting ready to team up with him on his Heart of the City, do some work, help feed people. I'm excited about that project, and I'm excited about what's going on in Shepherdsville. And I'm amazed to be a part of it with you, and thankful that our conversation started when it did, because I was intimidated.
No, we're not a big city.
But we're doing big things, right, Mayor?
We are doing big things. And I'll tell you, so part of it from the police and fire department here, they are aware that I want them to eyes and ears open as they see these situations occur to let us know. And if we have somebody that actually needs assistance, we're going to try to reach out to them. If somebody's on the streets, we're going to reach out to them, find out who they are, get them a bed, find out where they need to be. If it's something you're here local, let's see what we can get, what kind of help we can get you. We have certain services here in this county, and we don't have some, so we may have to go out to Louisville or somewhere else to get you services. But we'll see what we can. But again, it's got to be a cooperative effort.
Yes, it does.
That's the biggest thing. So people need to know that this podcast is to really show the finest of this community. And I think, Jennie, you do a wonderful job. Your heart's in the right place. And, we talk a lot about faith. And the biggest thing I want people to know is if your heart's good, you're always going to find the right way to help those in need, right?
Absolutely.
Be kind to all, help those in need. The less unfortunate in our society really need help. And we'll find them, and we'll make sure we do good things. But we have a resource in you. And that's what this episode is about. It's about letting people know that you are out there. And we're going to keep doing information. We got social media. We have our website. And then we have an email address here.
That's yeswayjosemail@gmail.com.
So before we get, listen, we never get out of an episode without getting an update on our Gaga Ball. And so what I like, I'll have to give Jennie a little credit here. She actually Googled it to find out.
I Googled it.
Yeah, so
everybody out there, I Googled Gaga Ball.
It is a real thing.
Yeah. I was not coming, not prepared,
Because, it is a real sport. And, our coach, player,
GM.
Had a GM. And
he might get cut from the team now. He's probably going to miss practice.
Is he going to? So what time does practice start on Fridays?
I don't know.
Is it before he goes to Freddy's or go after?
I'm not sure. He might do it on break. They probably do it in the parking lot on break.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna. I think he just made an excuse to get out of coming here.
I don't know.
I want to see a picture of the flat tire.
I'll get documented proof.
I need documented proof because he's been suspended once.
Oh,
yeah, he got back from his white trip and I just didn't, no show, no call, and we just don't do that here. I mean, we have standards on the Gaga Ball standards, and again, we made this emphasis last episode, but they're our major sponsor, and so we have to be very careful. We're just kind of a delicate line. It's not his money because Eli doesn't have any money.
No,
none. Yeah, they lint in his pockets maybe. But anyway, so we're having a good time with this. But anyway, so but I got to tell you something really cool about Gaga Ball. So we are going to build 2 Gaga Ball courts in the park.
Like permanent ones?
Yeah.
Oh, like the wooden ones?
Yeah. We're going to put one on the side, on the Buckman side of it, and then there's going to be one by the playground. So again, we were. I think Eli was really excited. He's going to have a home field. He has 2 home fields now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if the weather's bad, just listen. This is how much we take care of our championship team, Gaga Ball. We have an indoor facility too. It's a stadium. It's actually in the gym. We actually have the Gaga Ball court set up there in case the weather's like snow. Because I think they play all year round.
Right, yeah, rain or shine.
It's an all year round. Yeah, it's an all year round sport.
That's why you don't have to do like rain delays and
stuff.
Yeah,
but do those kids get really cold when it's like minus 10 in January? Do they have?
We haven't really thought about it.
Yeah, I think there could be
the players. They're trying to organize a players union, but
oh wow, that could
there's some pretty intense negotiations going on.
I don't know that I just don't want it to be costing us more money to be able to support this program. Sometimes when you get other people involved, they start asking for cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, though, they are our biggest sponsor of exactly.
So we're going to be
$0.
Yep. So anyway, we do appreciate our Gaga Ball team, and we have a lot of fun with that. But I'll tell you what. I enjoy doing these episodes because we get to bring people like Jennie. Jennie, thank you very much for being here today.
Oh, thank you all for having me. This is a great opportunity to share a little bit about the turnaround, but even better to give back to the city of Shepherdsville and let you know what's going on, or let them know what's going on.
You're an impact player, and I see it with the people that you work with, and I think that this is what we want to be contagious. Is people helping people?
Yeah, and, absolutely.
I love that. Her story is kind of she took her HR experience and but a lot of people they kind of look at HR as like kind of like a bad
yeah.
So you took like the evil powers of HR and you turned them good. You used them for good.
Turned them around.
Yeah, right. Turn them
around.
So you've helped the image of the HRs all over the world.
Go.
That's right.
You're doing HR right.
Not only that, it's the ministry too. The ministry part is where my heart is the most. So I'm thankful that God gave me that vision. He gave me an opportunity, and that He supported it for so many years through each and every person He gives. So I'm thankful for that.
So we are going to end this program, but we're going to do something different because everybody knows the last 3 episodes, what I do at the very end of the episode. But the person I have sitting across the table from me actually knows exactly what that is. So we're going to let her do it today because I did this with Jennie a while back, and she said it a couple different ways, but I think she knows the exact way to say it. But so when we end this program, Miss Jennie's going to do what I was supposed to do, but she's going to do it because it's something that we've been doing together for now. I've been months right now, Jennie. We've been doing this.
Yeah, we're in like our 8th month.
Yeah, of doing this. Every time we say goodbye, we say what?
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us on this program.
Or was it peace, love, and chicken grease?
It's love, peace, chicken grease. All right. Thank you all for joining us.
I had to say it.
Yes, ma'am.